pages I've done. There's so many character arcs, so.
Actually, I'll be talking about it in the meeting. Your method won't work for this particular book. Too many characters, too much happening.
Too much happening.
Miss a page.
And the guy's crafty guy, he's writing with foresight. He's going to make it like a chain of hotels.
Third book is coming next month.
There you go. I've already ordered it actually, because somebody in the UK said it's already come out.
Not started.
No, somebody in the UK has ordered it for me.
The series. There's no doubt about it.
I know. It hasn't even
you
come.
Have to read everything else. But good.
So it's nice.
Okay. So, Amala, how you have been doing?
Doing well. Busy, keeping busy.
Happy? I'm still stuck at home.
Oh dear. Every time it seems like you're close to exiting.
Yeah, again.
Waves that comes up.
Now again, the numbers are going down, so I'm
Bring
hoping.
up again, yeah.
What do you feel? Do you think next week we can have a physical meeting, or it should be postponed by one more month?
Hard for me to say. I think so. I've started going out to a few physical meetings, but I wear a mask all the time.
Of course.
But that's no point.
Yeah, there's no point because you can hardly hear anybody when you're wearing a mask. But we should really play it by ear. Maybe in the next month or two, we can try it. I was at an event at Sonu's yesterday. And she was doing a hybrid where she had people on Zoom, and the experience was not optimal because some people were saying they couldn't hear the speaker very clearly.
This is what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, and the other problem was that people in the room couldn't see the individual speakers because they were on their own phones. So we have to still
like two meetings parallel.
Yeah,
it's like two individual meetings. It doesn't really work.
It doesn't work. And so anyway, so she said she'll have Shabir figure out what was wrong with the audio. Going to try it again tonight. She has the same repeat thing tonight. And at least if the communications can be heard by the people on the phone, that's one step forward.
Yeah, that's at least something.
Yeah. And then we can look at how we can have a camera that projects people in the room.
It's actually the cameraman who knows this sort of a job who will keep switching the angles.
Yeah.
He must be there all the time and immediately switch to the person talking and things like that.
Right.
Lot of that is involved.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Not easy.
One-way interaction is super easy. If we can solve the audio issues that cropped up yesterday.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. And also we need to have a mic.
Yeah, that's it.
With people.
It has to go around. So if one person at a time only can talk, that doesn't matter. In fact, it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll make us be a little more disciplined. I was actually excited to see that she, that room she's thinking about for us. It's one of those middle rooms and it had about 30 chairs in it. That's plenty. Right?
This was on the second floor?
No, on the first floor.
First floor, she has a story in a shop, no? Let out to somebody.
No, she hasn't. I don't know. Anyway, she has it. It's, as you enter, you go through one room and then another room and the third room. It's in that room. She's remodeled it since you were there.
I think that's changed in the last couple of years then.
Yeah.
She had a fabric store earlier in the first floor.
She has the whole
and
place.
she had shifted her gallery to second floor.
Yeah, no,
we used to find it very difficult to climb 2 floors to our meeting in those days. Then he made us come down to the infinity room. That was
I see. Okay, no, that's not.
Mala, do you mean the first floor or the ground floor? Because that 3 rooms is on the ground floor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean ground floor. I keep getting ground mixed up, so
because you're American. I understand.
Thinking like that, not American, but lived there for a long time.
Yeah.
I keep getting that confused. But yeah, as soon as you enter through the back.
So the ground floor where she means the inside room.
Yeah.
Original gallery.
Yeah.
It's nice
So,
and bright, and
that-
she has a huge projection screen. And so all of that is nice, and she has very comfy chairs. Of course, the chairs were set up in a lecture format. May not be right for us because we like to look at each other when
We
we're
like to, that's
so we
it.
need to put it in a circle or something like that. So we have to play with it a little bit.
That is how our meetings were happening. I'm talking about 2013, 14, 15, etc.
Okay.
When we are a small group new, this
Yeah.
it was on the ground floor. The gallery was still on the ground floor at that time.
Yeah.
That's where we started.
Okay. Hi, Purva.
Hello.
You want to see the magic of the backdrop?
Yeah, 1 second.
And I'm going to give you recording rights as well.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
already.
sorry. Let me just do that.
Hello, Rameshan.
Hi, Ramesh.
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Hi, Ramesh.
Okay.
It's been long time.
Hello.
since we saw.
Hmm.
Hi, Ramesh. You back
Yeah.
in India?
Yeah, I am. I am in Chennai now. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it in person next time? Is that what we're talking, the book club? Okay.
We can
Okay.
take off the hybrid thing. That's what we were talking about, how to make
Okay.
it hybrid.
Okay.
And I was saying that we haven't solved all the problems of hybrid.
I can understand.
Mala, could you enable participant screen sharing, please?
What is it? Oh, yes.
I need you to enable participant screen sharing.
Okay. Is that under you or somewhere else?
It should be under participants, I think, somewhere.
Okay. Invite.
I think it should be in screen share screen.
I did. So it's multiple participants can share screens.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 second. What is going on here?
Do I hear birds?
I think it's Maureen. She's sitting outside. Yeah.
Nice touch. Thank you.
Somebody else doing what I'm doing, having read quarter of the book, writing last minute notes.
Me.
Me too.
It's been a while since I've read it.
Works.
So
I was a little
how well
worried,
I
you know.
remember the plot is
This
dodgy.
was a portrait format and I didn't know how it will turn out on our screen. It's
I
working.
really like it actually. It lets us see, at least for me, I can this way I can see you guys and the splash
Right.
page.
More of the screen is available for our purposes. So I need not restrict myself to landscape format in future.
Suresh, I haven't read the full book, but let me understand, is there a specific reason why that teacup is on that ledge?
Pardon, I didn't get you.
No, I haven't read the
That
entire
person sitting on the bench.
No, why? Is there a specific reason why that teacup is on the ledge there?
No, that unfortunately I couldn't remove it easily. So
I thought maybe it was a clue and something that would
I'm
come from
actually supposed to remove it. I was not able to easily. do
Okay,
it.
no.
let it go.
I'm just looking at it and I wondered if there was some reason why it was there.
It's a
Anyway,
nod
it's
to
an
the
idea, you
British
know, that-
tea ceremony, right?
At a meeting, a club meeting, etc. That sort of a feel.
No,
I didn't bother to remove it. Take too much trouble to remove it.
But it's
Is
very
it-
nice, Suresh. Very, very well done,
Very well
actually.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
very
had a lot
nice.
of fun with these cards.
How much time do you spend doing these
I'm
things?
very slow in Photoshop. Always have been. This
Oh.
sort of thing takes almost a day.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
There's
fast.
a course on this, but actually I don't know.
Same
I'd
way
rather
those
ask you to do it.
other invites I created, those 5, 6 slides. They also took about 1.5 days. I'm very slow that way.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Lakshmi.
Hello.
Hello.
So
Hi. I
Hi.
especially like Bernard sitting on the bench. I don't know, that kind of caught my eye.
And a ghostly
It's a
figure.
ghostly.
In a ghostly, yeah. And you just feel in a little while, Bernard is also going to go to the happy hunting grounds.
Purva, one doubt. How do I switch to my microphone on WhatsApp? How do I do that?
I think you need to hit click on the drop down. No, go to the to your main Zoom. Go to the Zoom app. There should be a thing that says settings over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I mean, it didn't ask you automatically when you plugged in your
It
microphone.
asked me and I didn't know. Anyhow, let's not waste time on that.
Okay.
It asked me, I didn't know. It's okay. So you guys are a little, I would have loved to have it a little louder. It's okay. Doesn't matter.
Your computer volume should help.
I have done that also. Let's see. Yeah. Anyhow.
Loud in mine anyway. Jata, have you read more than half the book? You gone 3/4 now?
No, I've read just half the book, I think.
In fact, I'm very careful in my introductory remarks to see that it doesn't become a spoiler. No problem.
Like Devika said, I was poring over the book for the past 45 minutes.
I can understand. No, it's one of the best
a
books.
long time
No doubt.
before-
I've already purchased the second one.
Even me, I bought the second one.
Not yet started reading it. The third one is.
By the way, for everybody who wants to get the second one is better than the first.
Yes,
I read
the
both.
second
I'm
one
told
The second
sounds
is better.
reads better. Yes, yes.
I'm waiting to.
I've just started. But
Actually, Lakshmi, my lesson is well learned. You know, I thought, okay, I just, I thought it was next Thursday and I'll zip through it. And then when Suresh told me yesterday that it was today, oh God, I really am feeling
Devika, I've done
huge
this.
regret.
I know
I am feeling huge
exactly
regret
what you
because
mean.
this is one book which I should have started on Sunday instead of reading all those useless back newspapers.
Oh, yes.
anyhow, by the way, guys, I was starting just before my son got married yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow,
So,
that's something. Yeah.
yeah, and in
You read
between
the
I
book
read
and
this
you've
book.
come today. Wow.
No, I managed. It was nothing. Once the wedding is over, it's over. So we are back home. Everything
But
is
you
over.
are a newly minted mother-in-law.
Yes, newly minted mother-in-law. Yes,
First time
Actually-
mother-in-law. Is it first time?
first time.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So all excited to invite the girl home. And of course, there is a lot of excitement happening. But today I said, because of our book club, I said people were supposed to come for dinner. I said, give us a break. We are all very tired. Let's have the dinner tomorrow.
Wow.
This is what we call
Chandra, I can see
Love,
that
love.
you've got a new pair of specs to celebrate the marriage.
No. Nothing
same
new.
one?
Only the saris were new. Everything else.
Okay.
She's got mehendi on her fingers.
And mehendi on your fingers.
Yes.
Yeah, there. See?
There. Yeah. Anyhow, it was lovely. And I'm back to the club and I'm enjoying my book club also. Yes, definitely.
Oh, all of us do.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah.
Yes.
Purva, you can remove the slide.
Sure.
So first, the announcements. There isn't much to say, except that the time has come for us to think about our October, November books.
Oh no.
Really come to we have our election, no?
Suresh.
How else do we select? I don't want to make it every month. It's too much.
No, it's too much. It's definitely too much. Please.
That's why we are selecting every 2 months.
Can't we have a subcommittee? Can't we have a rotational subcommittee of 3 people every 6 months who will do our selection for us for that 6 months, and then the committee will change for the next 6 months? No. One can do.
Please let's keep to the existing thing. I think we're doing
Yeah,
a
I
good
feel, I
job.
feel like that's far too much work for poor Mr. Suresh if nobody else.
That will not be sufficiently democratic. Let's see. We'll find a better method maybe soon. At the moment, we are stuck with this.
No, this is not stuck. It's a good method, but one should look at version 2.0 of this method.
Yeah.
So Suresh, just once more. Now we have to for October and November, you said?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So before the next month is over, we should be able to buy the book. That is why.
Yeah,
So probably by mid-September, we should be able to decide. Maybe end of first week, I'll start the process going.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
Suresh, can't we do it for 3 months then? If 2 is too short or 4 is too long,
Even
kind
when
of
we do
content?
2, we sometimes find when the second book is coming up, we
Yeah.
missed out so many other things.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's
Okay.
already happening, we feel that.
Yeah.
The
What's
time lag.
September's book? Suresh, what is September's book? I don't remember.
A paragon.
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 Yes.
A polygon with too many sides. Okay. Now I'll go to my review of the Thursday Murder Club. The first thing I felt when I started reading the book, throughout the book while reading it, I felt I was thinking, I was always remembering Agatha Christie. The sort of the way the plot has been handled, the way the things happen in the book, the story, it reminds you too much of Agatha Christie. Too many things happening, too many characters, and then all sorts of misleads in the beginning, misdirections, all that was there in the book. Richard Osman, pardon? Yeah. Richard Osman is a well-known British TV personality and creator presenter of Pointless, a quiz show on BBC. This is his first book and was a super hit. This will be part of the series. The second book, The Man Who Died Twice, has been released in 2021 and was also a super hit. The third book, The Bullet That Missed, will be released in September this year. A small news. The series film rights have been bought by Steven Spielberg for an undisclosed amount rumored to be in a seven-figure range. Anyway. How does one summarize or review a murder mystery? Where do I draw the line so that it doesn't become a spoiler? I was a little worried on this. I will try to be as careful as I can. The story is set in Cooper's Chase, an upmarket retirement community. Osman introduced this as, you can't move here until you are over 65. And the Waitrose delivery truck clinks with wine and repeat prescriptions every time they pass over the cattle grid. 4 septuagenarians, form the Thursday Murder Club, which means every Thursday in the jigsaw room between art history and conversational French to investigate the unsolved murder cases that the Kent police force have been too incompetent to prosecute themselves. This sort of dry humor is Osman's trademark, and the story is full of it. Despite murder being the theme running through the novel, this is very much a cozy read. It is clever, it is sad, it is moving in places, it is wickedly funny throughout. Osman has done an outstanding job of bringing his characters to life and making them as individual as if they were real. The leader, for example, the prime moving force is Elizabeth, an alpha person, introduced as the sort of teacher who terrifies you all year, then gets you a grade A and cries when you leave. Elizabeth used to have an unspecified job. Throughout the story, Osman is avoiding answering it straight away, possibly as a spy, that has left her with a large network of helpful sources. She has been in Beirut in early 70s, worked in a bar in former Yugoslavia, spent a month in a safe house near a Polish-West German border, babysitting a Russian chess grandmaster and defector, and a man in Geneva owes her a favor and gets her a suspect's financial records, what not. That much of an alpha person. Then there is the fastidious Egyptian psychiatrist Ibrahim Arif and Red Ron Ritchie, Red, a political firebrand and a former labor union leader who is introduced as he has a West Ham tattoo on his neck and a vociferous opinions to match. The last member of the former is a former nurse Joyce, the quiet one in a lavender blouse and a mauve cardigan, who goes unnoticed but notices everything. This is how Osman introduces his main characters. They get into high gear when actual murder happens in their community and want to solve it before the police detective inspector, Chris Hudson, who is investigating the case. They want an insider in the police force and they instigate their friend, Officer Donna De Freitas, promising her a place in the investigating team. How they pressurize the inspector to include her in the team is an excellent example of the humor that is an integral part of the story. That chapter is fabulous. There's a large cast of, in effect, after the, if we have time, I have a small side story to tell regarding this, in my experience. There is a large cast of characters, all very clearly etched in detail. Ayan Mehta is the villainous, boorish, vulgar. For example, he owns a red grand piano of the community. His partner, Tony Curran, is now a builder, but with a criminal past with drugs and murder on which he escapes being prosecuted. Then there is Father Matthew Mackey, who turns out to be not a priest at all. Then there is Bogdan Jankowski, who replaces Curran as a partner whose past is equally shady. There is Bernard, who spends all his time sitting on a bench near the cemetery, whose story is very sad. Osman blends all these and many more characters and subplots expertly into a story that is much more than a common garden murder mystery. He talks about the problems of aging, the different types of relationship the elderly residents have with their offspring, of businesses going for profit with a callous disregard for how it affects any other people involved, etc., etc. Osman also powerfully dismantles the settled notions of old age. The club members are fiercely independent, humorous, ambitious, and resourceful. They clarify at the outset that they are not friends simply because they now have to spend the rest of their lives together. They are opinionated and do what they do because they are skilled at it. That shows throughout the book. One of my favorite reviews, which I've read about this story, says the author also utilizes his literary flair to demonstrate a compassionate understanding of gender and ethnicity and the attached prejudices at this nexus. Diversity is one of the most prominent themes in the novel. There are Turkish Cypriot gangsters. Osman carefully distinguishes them from the Greek Cypriots. A Polish working class man with his own dubious past, a dead Indian wife, and an uncertain Christian priest. The book embraces the assortment of their oddities, and what finally stand out are strong characters with unparalleled individualities. Osman ensures that they are not reduced to caricatures and that their diverse nationalities play a role in the plot. So, and once you read the book, you realize that all this is there. This book is much, much, much more than a murder mystery. Very much more. No wonder it really made a big hit. At the end, you start thinking maybe of Enid Blyton. Have the famous five grown old and moved here? That's it. So who wants to go next?
Can I go next? Though I read a little of the book.
Yeah.
So first, my apologies to the book club. I think it's a mark of disrespect that I couldn't complete the book before the book club. I shall not let this happen again. Now, from what I read of this book, it's a nice book. Whether it's discussable in the book club, I'm not sure because I haven't yet reached the stage that Suresh has reached in the quarter. But I love the style, the language, the word visual. In fact, for me, word visual locks my mind in when I'm reading a book. So all that has worked. And I've done about a quarter of the book, but I shall definitely complete the book by tomorrow. Not at a speed reading pace. Now, I love the idea of a Thursday book club, a Thursday murder discussion. I was thinking with Latika and with Vijay's dad also having been in the police, maybe we could also have a subgroup like that, where we bring an old case and we could figure it out. Maybe they couldn't figure it out, but we can figure it out. So that was a thought that crossed my mind. Okay. The other thing is, I love this community that they're talking about with the jigsaw puzzle room. In fact, it's the perfect community. If it comes in India, I'm there.
I'm there.
So I'm there before you. I'm the oldest.
No, but
Just 1 year older than me.
this sounds exciting, doesn't it? With the
Yes,
Thursday
very,
murder.
very exciting.
But it sounds more exciting than our current lives. Okay. Then the other thing is, without sounding racist, why is it that I feel Brits write the best books? I mean, I don't know. My gut
It's
feel
their
when I-
language. Their language.
they're able to, it's in their DNA, they're able to get it. Now, for example, you know, the way he describes the people who've come and helped them out in their Thursday, whatever, forensics, officers, accountants, judges, tree surgeons. Tree surgeons, that means people who sort out trees, I guess. Okay, horse breeders, glass blowers. I mean, I love the way he gives that word visual. Then I have some questions. What is he keeps mentioning this in parking llama? What is a llama?
They've got llamas
they-
on the resort. On the,
Sorry?
in the,
They-
in
they-
the,
They're a sort of strange animal, strange looking
Yeah,
animal.
no, but you mean you have put the llamas there?
yeah, they started off
Yeah.
with
Yes.
two and
What
then
a
multiplied.
They're easy to breed.
There, a few of
They're
them.
low maintenance. They're like sheep.
Oh, you mean they just wander around the llamas?
Yeah, but you have to start
Like
the
sheep.
family and they multiply.
Like sheep.
Like sheep. Even in Australia, they've started llama farm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that is what. No, but he's
Basically, it's a South American.
Why are there so many llamas? Oh, you mean they walk wandering around?
Yeah, they just bought a couple and then the rest.
Oh, okay, okay. And then what is this fair trade he's talking about? He says I have to pay an extra 15 pence to help someone I'll never meet in a country I'll never go to.
They do fair trade coffee in UK a lot. If you go to a coffee shop, it'll be harvested from a farm somewhere in Africa, which is fair trade, which means you paid the wages to the worker that's picking the coffee, not to, you know, the organization that's making the money. So the wages are very fair to the person that's picking
Oh,
the
okay.
coffee pickers and all that.
I
Something
got
similar
that.
to what's
Thank you very
happening in
much. I
the.
got that. Okay, and I love that description of that smoothie. That was real yum and healthy. That's all at this point from me. On to the next.
Can I go next?
If nobody's.
Oh, yeah, Chandra, yeah, please go
Can I
next.
or anybody else?
Yeah, yeah. No, you can go.
Yeah.
Go next.
See, I read it about 50. I think I read it the beginning of the month because I had this thing going on. So I don't remember that extent the details, but I remember, yes, I enjoyed it. I'm a murder book fan. I love reading murder mysteries. And if you have a neat, clean murder like this, nobody talks about somebody being kidnapped and what do you call cruelly, whatever. No, all that is not there. I enjoy it. However, I found that I'm past Agatha Christie sort of murder books. So how would I evaluate this book? It is for, it's just for a light read. I could just keep the book away. It was not like I wanted to keep the book and finish reading. You know, it was not like that. There are certain books in the middle of the night, I wake up and I would like to know what happened next. That didn't happen with me. And I still feel that Joyce, there is some mystery behind what she says. I still have not made out. I'm reading the next book. I feel he is keeping her in suspense and there's something there. And it was just an okay book. I recommended the book. Maybe I expected a little more than that, but it's okay. It was a nice book. Second book is better. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Who'd like to go next?
Can I go next?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, so I enjoyed the book. Of course, it's not a book that is
sorry.
very, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the book is not exactly very literary, but I can understand why people are reminded of Agatha Christie because the writing is very British. There's a lot of detail about the characters, about their lives, about their children. And it's not like one of these American detective novels, which is very much somehow more action oriented. And very often American authors are more cynical when they write, whereas with the British books, there's not that undercurrent of cynicism. And the language is very refreshing. It's nice to read, a book by an author who writes in the Queen's English, because we've kind of lost that exposure over the past 20 or 25 years, even in India, which is a former colony. So it was nice to read, the the English language, the Queen's English, basically. So there were many threads in the book, some of which I thought were a little unnecessary. Sister Margaret and her suicide, they didn't have much relevance to the plot, except to introduce another little subplot with Father McKee. But the characters were very well fleshed out. As you read, you don't like Ian Bentham, and you very much admire Elizabeth. So I think the descriptions of the characters was excellent. So all in all, a very enjoyable book, and I think it was a book that I can't say I couldn't put it down, but I look forward to reading it, look forward to opening the book and continuing with it. So in that sense, it was a very enjoyable book and suspenseful right until the very end. That's all I had.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I could go if nobody else is going.
Sure, I'll go after you then. Yeah.
Go ahead first, Purva.
No, I mean, I read the book about a few months ago now, so I remember liking it, except that I think I wish that there had been one more editing pass. I mean, the language was lovely, the characters were very well fleshed out. There were just too many threads. I mean, without spoiling, it felt a little more convoluted than a detective novel should be. I mean, for those of y'all who have finished the book, I was at the end of it, I was scratching my head going, what was the point of there being so many stories in one book? It felt, I don't know, it felt a little too much plot without enough space to stretch out. It was the other aspects were well done. I really liked it, but I felt like, I don't know, I mean, it could have gone through one more editing pass, like Ramesh said, for the extra subplots. But I mean, generally I liked it. It's not going to be my favorite book, but it was a good way to pass the time.
Yeah, and for instance, the Donna Freitas and Chris Hudson, that was again an introduction of some kind of a romance in that, which was a bit off. I mean, there was no need for I mean, of course there was a surprise at the end, but still it didn't have anything to do with the plot. But I did like Chris Hudson a lot as a person, and I must tell you that I really want to have lemon drizzle and coffee walnut cake with so much vodka in it that I can't be allowed to drive the next day. So her description of food was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, Lakshmi?
Yeah. I concur absolutely with Purva and Rameshan in the sense there's too much said and so much was not necessary. Sorry, Suresh, I disagree with you. I don't think anyone can be parallel to Agatha Christie, but then that's because I'm completely biased in her favor, and especially her psychological depths, which I didn't see here. Anyway, regardless of what Lakshmi thinks, I think Shakespeare would have delighted in this. Why? Because it's full of drama. There's nothing but drama in it. And with that typical British wit that has been discussed, I won't mention that. We have the four musketeers, Elizabeth, Ron, Ibrahim, and Little Joyce. Each one brings his or her own skills, his or her own idiosyncrasies, his or her own peculiar brand of humor. And then there is Penny Grey, a comatose lady, and her husband, devoted husband, John. These are the main characters. And then there's thunder and lightning, and twirling in his mustaches walks in the loathsome Ian Bentham, the property developer whom nobody likes, who wants to flex his muscles and make himself more money by developing, and his little chamcha, Tony Curran, the builder and shareholder. And both will shortly disappear from stage in a very sad and unfortunate way, but nobody feels sad about that either. So why? Because it's murder most foul. There are other subplot characters who come in stage left, stage right, and disappear. each playing their part extremely manfully or womanfully. And of course, the intrepid detectives, Chris and Donna. Ramesh and I like Chris very much as well. So with all these people and a few more, Father McKee, who isn't a priest, as Suresh said, it is said the curtain comes down on Act 1 and we are all agog for Act 2. Like somebody else mentioned, of course, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, they're all different people from different communities. And the cynic in me began to wonder, is this a part of the quota system? I'm sure you're all aware now that there is a quota system which is required. We have to have people from different countries. That's why if you put on Netflix, you'll see Queen Anne with shining mahogany skin, right? Yeah. So I'm not making a comment, I'm just saying, okay. So it is replete with drama. And each character is a very able actor. Elizabeth, of course, main person, supported by her willing stooges, friends, I should say, not stooges. They strategize, they go bravely where very few fear to tread. They can act, they can cry at whim. And what's wonderful is every few hours, they have to open a bottle of wine. Did anybody notice that? I mean, how wonderful life would be if we could just do that, get together, do a little work and pop out the cork. I enjoyed that. Let's not forget Bogdan. He's the hot guy. Every woman salivates over him. I didn't quite think I would have salivated him with his tattoos and wearing a vest all the time, but each one to his own. I thought he was an extremely interesting character, Bogdan. He can't speak English properly. He drops his articles, but so what? He's hot. And then there are unrecognized skeletons that pop up from the graveyard. You've got anti-digging graveyard protesters who would compete with the Vietnam protesters. Then you have the horrible, loathsome villain who dies himself. I mean, what's going to happen? There is complete confusion. And it looks like everybody has a motive. The Catholic Church has a motive in Father McKee. And the interesting part is, again, no spoiler alerts. As always in a murder mystery, while everybody's circling around, the murderer is found under their nose. So I have two things to say. You better do your homework before choosing an assisted living home when your time comes, because Devika, we can all be like them, but then somebody has to die, okay? Just remember that. And so maybe more people have to die. The more, the merrier.
Actually, when you go to an assisted living home, let me assure you, the end is only that.
No, it has to die.
Whichever way.
Devika, murder most foul, okay?
Okay.
You have to die by fentanyl or something I've never heard of before.
It's one of those quick ones, dash, and I'm out.
Okay, not bad. Good way to go. Okay, but all that aside, it's the little things which are engrossing. The big thing is that I thought it was too long. It could have been edited. Okay, that we've discussed. No need to talk more. I like the little things. Elizabeth quizzing herself. Every day she writes answers to questions that she will ask herself 2 weeks later. For instance, what color kurta was Devika wearing on the last book club meet? Will I remember this 2 weeks later? Then Lakshmi has a good memory. Okay, I like those kind of things. Then the feelings behind all the hectic activity, the feelings and the fears that are present in human beings. Elizabeth's fear of dementia, of her husband's increasing memory loss and dementia. You have Joyce, who I also feel has a past, and she has her own fears. There is love. There is love between them, love for their spouse, love for late spouses. All this lies as an underbelly of fearsome action, and that spoke to me, because isn't that what we are all about? We go from action to action, looking at the time, and in all of us, there are these fears, loneliness, all the things that you see in this book. And then you have the garden of eternal rest, the graveyard. And I can assure you that's one place where nobody's ever resting eternally or even temporarily. Every few minutes, there's a grave being dug up and bodies exhumed. Next point is their vanity. I love the way they flock to Anthony, the hairdresser, who plays up to each one's ego and talks to them exactly the way they have to, making each one of them walk out of there feeling absolutely beautiful. My mother would well benefit from it. Even the comatose Penny has Anthony's hands doing her hair. What else do I learn? Of course, which was something we all do, the benefits, the essential need for friendships, especially as we all grow older. It helps if we are all somewhat, it's great to have young energy, fantastic. But it all helps a lot when we're all somewhat the same age. Then nobody will mind when there is a delay getting out of a bus because we're busy taking our walking sticks and walkers and dropped purses out of the bus and hobbling out of it. Nobody will feel impatient about that. And to sum it all, it answers the big question that I've asked myself every time I watch a James Bond movie. What happens to spies when they grow old? They go to Cooper's Chase retirement home. Please read it, guys. It's really a fun book.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Does anybody want to go next?
I will.
Sure.
I agree with a lot of things that Lakshmi said. It was an easy read. It was a fun read, but like many have said, it was quite convoluted and sometimes confusing, the number of bodies and whatever else. So I think too much was stuffed in literally into the book, graves apart. And everybody has something they're hiding. So that was there. Suresh, I'm totally with Lakshmi when she says this is not Agatha Christie.
Touché.
That's the feel I got too. But otherwise, it was very amusing the way they go about doing their own bit of detection. And yeah, I like the way Elizabeth manages to get in and out of all the situations because her background kind of helps her out in that, or what she worked in, where you can call in all the favors. So that definitely worked in her. And yes, the one thing I envied about Cooper's Close, I think, or is it Cooper's Chase? Anyway, is that it would be an ideal thing. I wish we had something like this here also, inclusive of the scenery and weather. But I mean, that's also very, very important. But however, that's not there. But it was an easy read. I don't know whether this is something which you would say is great for a review or book club and stuff like that. But anyway, it was an easy read. So I guess I leave it at that.
So Latika, if we ever have a murder mystery group like this, then you will be Elizabeth, because you will have all the contacts, and you can call in all those favors.
Oh, I can be Elizabeth, I can be Joyce, I can be Ron, I can be Ibrahim too, even though he's a psychiatrist, and I can be John.
Ramesh, which leaves you with Bogdan.
Yeah, that's it. Bogdan's a bit too much, but the rest, yes, it's good. I think all of us could be that, actually, all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Who wants to go next?
Well, I will just say a few things because I just ran through the book in, very short time. I didn't have time to read it. Of course, the one thing that I did not really like was that it was really too long, yes, which everybody has said. And also it sort of meandered, it meandered and it just went I don't know, it was not put together, I felt. Or maybe for my kind of person, it didn't suit me, that's all. And as Chandra said, okay, you can take it or leave it. It's just the kind of book you can take or leave. And it so happened that often I would stop at some point and I never knew where I'd stop because the bookmark would slip on. And I would go back somewhere, and then after a few pages, I would recognize one sentence and say, oh God, I mean, I have been through all this before. So while you were gently rambling, people were rambling and, we were meandering around, a beautiful phrase would suddenly pop up now and then. And that's what I liked about the book. A bit of wry wit, tongue-in-cheek humor, suddenly there'll be a little phrase, or sometimes there will be, let me just look at it. There was a very nice phrase which was at the beginning of chapter 11, which I think really was very nice. And the characters, something, there was a lot of mystery in all the characters. I wouldn't say they were well etched because there was so much about them that we don't know. Yeah. What we know about them is something, to me, very hazy. There's so much to Elizabeth that nothing shows. And as you said, Joyce, everybody realized that she had some kind of a mystery behind her. And even Ron, I mean, they're all very laconic. I like the way they talk. And what is this person doing there in the middle of all these people? There's some kind of mystery about each and every one of them. So they're not well etched in that sense. You don't know too much about them. Just little touches they tell you, which make you interested. You want to sniff out some more, but there isn't any more in this particular book, which is why perhaps he's written 3 books, so that somewhere along the end, you know a little more about these people. But they are a very wonderful group, the 4 of them, yes. And Elizabeth in particular, and all of them all together. And of course, there are people like this Bernard, what was his name? Bernard, who sits on the bench.
Cottle. Bernard Cottle.
Yes, totally mysterious man, and all the mysteries that go with him, with filling up birthing urns with sawdust and all sorts of things. I mean, I had no really idea what real role he played in the book. But as I said, I haven't read it very thoroughly. There must be something behind.
I think, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sure there is, because as I said, I gave it a very light, skimmed over it, which is not the way to do it. But again, yes, it was no Agatha Christie. I'm sorry to say, no way near. And well, I don't know. He was, yes, English, but you could see a lot of the TV thing behind him, certainly in the way you read the book. It's not just pure literature at all. And maybe it's not completely my kind of book. Maybe it's the kind of book I'll take on a plane journey. And then I'll close it to see a movie on the screen, and then I go back to some page, pick it up and start reading from there. Because as I said, I don't know where I left it. So that's the feeling I had. But I said, there are some little sentences which suddenly come up and really come. Look at this. He's talking about this Cooper's chase. And he says, many years ago, everybody here would wake early. That is in the days before the home. Because there was a lot to do and only so many hours in the day. Now they wake early because there is a lot to do and only so many days left. Now that is a very telling and a beautiful phrase, which stayed with me a long time. When you're over 80, you can always feel like that. There's so much to do and there's very little time left. So like that, lovely sentences would crop up every few pages. And one had to look for them, because if you want to skim over it, you lose out on the gems. You read the chaff and then you don't find the real thing behind it. It was okay. That's all I can say. It was just okay. But I wasn't bored, but I did skip over quite a few pages.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Can I say something? Prema, for the last few months, all we've been doing is reading airport and airplane books.
I agree. And actually, I haven't really read the last part where all the murders happen. And we know why Penny, is that her name? Penny is there so much in the book, which I kept wondering, why is she always there? Why are people talking to her? And then later on, it becomes all bludgeons and truncheons and whatever you call it. And it comes right at the end. All along it's smooth sailing. It's like a poem by Wordsworth. It just goes on like that. And then suddenly all that happens. Drama comes right at the end. Perhaps that's the one thing which is reminiscent of Agatha Christie, because there also you don't know what is happening. And all these little false trails which are laid to lead you astray, and suddenly the murder is sort of solved. That's
the one difference between Agatha Christie's characters or the detectives. So there's usually only one detective. And then a whole host of other characters. And there was one exception. There was a book called The Big Four, I think, where there were 4 different, I think there were 4 villains, but even there, I think the detective was only one. So here there are many detectives, and then, you know, you kind of have to learn a lot about their characters. So that made it a bit more complicated. But I think Richard Osman is not that old. And the book is a little contrived because he is trying to write from the perspective of people who are much older, and it didn't always work. I felt that sometimes.
No, I felt, sorry, if I can say something more, I felt that Agatha Christie had the ability to make a neat book. Very well written plot, everything tied together. By the end of it, it's a neat, clean cupboard with everything sorted out, or a library with everything sorted there, and we know exact. This is a little muddled, you know, I felt that. But the next book, that's why I started on the next book, much better. So he's improving.
It is his debut novel, I believe. So that explains part of it.
Yeah.
Did anybody get the impression that he has movie rights or TV rights in mind?
A little bit.
When he wrote it,
Yeah. I mean, the guy is a TV writer.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he was, you can't blame him, right? That's where the big money is. So good for him that he's got that.
Yeah. Did anyone else want to say something?
Maureen was here some time back.
Yeah.
I can just see an M.
I've lost you because my battery's going down.
Maureen.
She's there.
Can I say a few things for a person who hasn't read the book? I haven't read the book, and I've done a bit of skimming, of course. I made only one observation. Why does he give so much importance and headlines to Joyce whenever he goes into the first person narrative? Only Joyce gets the billing as though she's the chief actress, actor, whatever. So the guy is setting us up for a slew of books. This is going to be the first of many. So he's already planned his 15th novel, I guess. And he's just trying to iron out. So maybe let's give him some time. Perhaps he'll, of course, it'll get boring. See, right now I'm watching an American TV series called Only Murders in the Building. And that's about 3 or 4 neighbors who take it upon themselves to do murders only in the building. It looks, the plot line is very similar to this. Because there are about 2 old guys and a youngish girl who only solve murders in that particular block in New York, somewhere in Manhattan. So many people are using this, but of course, being a very slick American TV series, it's winning so many awards. It's so good actors, full of humor, dark humor and all that. But it's also being signed up for the 4th season now, would you believe? So obviously this man has been signed up for 7 or 8 seasons. It's like that guy writing Game of Thrones. He still hasn't finished the first, and the second one has already started. You see, he hasn't finished the first stream, and he's got TV rights, and he's an older person. He says that he wants to get all this money, and his story is all tied down. So maybe this chap, he's in a position, being a TV personality himself, he knows exactly what. So maybe the TV version of these movies will be very slickly edited, and we people who jumped into the books will feel disappointed, or maybe we'll have forgotten about the first. So this is a thing we have to give him. He's setting up Joyce for something big, obviously, because he's given her the first.
She's like the narrator, you always have
she's a narrator, but she doesn't always narrate. You notice she only narrates about 6 or 7 chapters. I've not read it, frankly, but I know that she's setting us up. She's sort of youthful. She's got new plans, and she's got this very smart daughter. You can see the mother-daughter. She's got one daughter. I did a bit of that because I got a daughter who knows she's smarter than me. And this girl keeps reminding at every step that she's smarter than the mother. And the mother is sort of proud of the daughter, but you know what happens in the end. The daughter profits.
And all daughters feel that way.
So the mother is, so it's like you say, there are some young people coming in, and it will be most welcome to have younger characters in the subsequent novels. I haven't read the subsequent novels, but I'm sure the TV series will be a hit, just like Agatha Christie's TV series are a hit. Even the other day, I saw a redo of Murder on the Orient Express, and it's still appealing because she's fleshed out her characters so well. And who knows, maybe 100 years from now, people will be talking more about this guy and less about Christie, if it's ever possible.
There's also this very amusing page where they're exchanging, you know, what's some chats. And then she says, LOL, that's Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So this younger one, the Donna, is surprised that she even knows a term like LOL.
Yeah.
She writes WTF. And then Elizabeth says, I don't know what WTF means. I actually looked up Google to find out what it meant. I had no idea what it meant.
So it crosses the generation because it's smart for the author to think of younger people, middle-aged people, to read. Because who reads nowadays, you know? So maybe he's manipulating more middle-aged people to read such sort of books because let's face it, 75% of older people head to places like this. If they're well off, they go to a good place like this particular retirement home, and it's not a government one, it's a private one. And you should see all these people are from a certain social class that they can afford to live in such an expensive place. But there again, they are drinking wine, and White Rose is bringing them bottles. Very high up, they tell you that these people are having quite fun. And if there are 100 people, only 4 are interested to have this murder mystery things. Others are happy with jigsaws and speaking French or learning to speak Spanish. Anyway, that's my take. Thank you.
Yes, Maureen. Maureen, you haven't said a thing.
Well, okay, I'm just going to say Agatha Christie, he's not, that's for sure. Just bringing in a huge number of characters to confuse us. But it was a gentle read and enjoyable enough. I did read it to the end because not that it was a page turner, but I did want to find out ultimately who was the villain. And but I'm a lead child advocate. So if you really want a good thriller read, I can't recommend anyone but Lee Child, who is also a British writer who's made it big in the States. But he's a brilliant writer and as a literary writer as well. The way that, I don't know whether any of you have read him, but I've read all of his books twice, and I wish that he would keep writing, but now he's writing with his brother, and it's not quite so satisfactory. But anyhow, as a read, I think Thursday's Murder Club and the concept, it was entertaining, and I'm happy I read it, but I don't know that I want to go on and read the other books. I didn't feel so enthralled by his writing as such. But anyhow, thanks for the recommendation and thanks for the discussion. That's me. Sorry, I had to go off because my charge was going down. So see you next time. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
But Padma and Geeta, they're the only ones, and of course Mala, who's sitting quietly there and not saying a word.
That's because I actually didn't read, I cheated. I asked audible.in to read it out to me. And I have to say it was quite a different experience to have somebody read it out aloud, particularly someone with the British accent. And so it was like you were all talking about, it could be a TV show and this and that and the other thing. I totally enjoyed the being read to part by somebody with a British accent. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I also got a sense of how this author was actually describing a community in which just one of the activities was to solve a murder. I can actually imagine in a community how there are millions of different little activities, a few of whom decided to go ahead and be, to find and solve a murder. Love the interaction between the policewoman and the speech and all of that stuff. I haven't yet finished it, even though somebody was reading it out loud to me. I found that after about 45 minutes, I just went to sleep. So I need to pick up the book and read it myself for the rest of to understand the rest of the story. So far, though, easy read, delightful accent, lovely description of the English community, although I haven't lived there. Geeta probably can either attest to it or not, but so far it's been entertaining, to say the least. Not totally memorable yet, and I have to pick it up and read it. It's not keeping me glued to want to get to the end.
I mean, audiobooks totally are not cheating, though. I mean, they're just as legitimate as paper
Yeah,
books.
agree. Yeah. Prema, you said something that absolutely hit the nail. I would read a book, I would leave my book down and pick it up, and when I read it, I found that I've read it already.
Yes.
So,
Even I
you know,
did
there was something, I don't know why. First, I thought that maybe I'm just becoming forgetful. But now you said it, it's not just being forgetful. There's something about the way it's narrated that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, to
I
Anand's point.
experienced that. I experienced that.
You don't know where it's leading you.
No, to Anand's point about Joyce, it was very confusing because you have to kind of, sit back and realize that Joyce alone is talking in the first person narrative because she's writing, in the diary, and it takes a while to kind of keep track of all that. So that was a bit confusing. The other thing is about the different ethnicities. If you read the acknowledgements, he has acknowledged a lot of people of Indian origin. So that was very gratifying. But then when you read the book, you do wonder why are all these Turkish Cypriots are more, they're more the villains than, and Bogdan is a villain. So the villains tend to be more, they're not British. But of course, the main villain, okay, so I don't want to give that away, but you kind of get the idea. There is a tendency to still paint foreigners as being different. And then there's a point where he says only a Russian woman may have been able to swing that spanner at Tony Karan. Of course, he said that as a joke, but still there was, it struck an odd note. Why particularly mention a Russian woman? So I think there is an attempt to kind of present all the different ethnicities in today's England, in today's UK, but there is still some stereotyping that's being done by Osman himself.
Yeah, no, and jumping off on that, I mean, I don't know that, I don't know there's anything like a quota or anything these days. I mean, I think it's just that books reflect more of the world we live in now. I mean, versus even 20-30 years ago, where the world was completely white. Or look at a lot of media productions. You would think that anybody not white was invented in the late 1980s. So I don't know. I think Osman may have been a bit ham-handed about it, but I'd rather that than the unfailing whiteness of his predecessors.
Oh, can I say something here? I feel we are all being a little unfair. See, we read English books. So English books are written by mainly people who speak English. Who spoke English originally? Whites, it's their language, Britishers' language. So they used people around themselves. If I write a Tamil book, I will not have a white person there. I will have Tamils there. If I'm reading a Malayalam novel, there will be dark-skinned Malayalam people or dark-skinned Tamil people or fair-skinned, supposed to be Segappu. It is, I think whatever we see around them, whatever the author saw around that that is whatever he or she saw around himself or herself. So they wrote about it. So I don't want to read into it racial thing or anything like that. Whatever we are right. And whatever, I think they are becoming too politically correct. Right? That's what I enjoy. A normal book. Yes, this book has got all of them, because maybe that's what today's England is about, That's it. Agree?
You're right, but you're politically incorrect, perhaps. But that's okay. We're all friends here.
So I
Talking about
okay, I
what
have to
Lakshmi
admit to
mentioned,
not quite getting your point, but
No. Okay, maybe I didn't express it well. I don't know. Yeah. What I'm saying is,
sorry, Chandra, talking about what Lakshmi mentioned, about Queen Anne. I mean, it did take some settling in Bridgerton, right?
yeah. Yes, because I once went to UK and I saw a play where Shakespeare, all the men were played by women, and all the female characters were played by men, because the women decided that Shakespeare had done Petruchio better than any other woman. So she wanted to do that role. I felt that play was really odd, Imagine a woman doing a man's role and mouthing all the man's dialogues, and the man doing a lady. This all, I think, going a
so
bit too
historically,
hard. Leave it. They are write novels about women or write plays.
Chandra, you're very, very politically racist, sexist, the words.
So historically, female roles in theaters were played by young men. So
let's write now. Let's start now. Let's write women's roles. Shakespeare, when he wrote, only men wrote. Unfortunate. Let's write
actually
now.
no. Yeah. Women have always written. The first novel was written by a woman.
Yeah, so we are still reading it. It's okay. Imagine Emma or Pride and Prejudice having all of the women. They are women there, So I don't know why we are saying that it is all should be politically correct. Men should do women's role. And I don't know. Anyhow, I'm not, I think, expressing myself properly. Anyway.
Well, anyway, he didn't bring in anyone who is binary or non-binary, whatever that means, LGBTQ.
Yes.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
A lot of his sonnets were written to another man, actually.
Sorry?
A lot of Shakespeare's sonnets were written to another man.
Of course.
Yes.
And there was that policeman who was
the
gay.
policeman who enjoyed to tell.
Yes.
Maybe the other.
But hey, I just wanted to tell you that a British school that I came across is using this book as their, something we said it's not discussion worthy. They're doing a study on it and doing question and answers and a very in-depth study on this book.
Oh my God.
Which class?
So, middle school. Middle school. I don't know what middle school means though, actually.
6th to 9th, I guess.
No,
yeah,
must
6th
be,
to 8th.
Must be 7th, 8th, 9th.
I mean, honestly, this would have been a more enjoyable read in high school than Test of the Durbar. That's what I got subjected.
Yeah, that I agree.
Any day.
Better than Test
any
of
day.
Durbar. Definitely.
Yeah. So it's 5:05. Anybody else have anything to say, or shall we wrap up?
And wrap up.
Please, let's all read a paragon.
Yes, and this time, not too early like Chandran said, I forgot.
Yeah,
or not too late like Devika said, I didn't finish. Just right in the middle.
And Chandra also had a wedding in between. Okay.
Can anyone guide me how deep is the book and how big is the book?
I bought the book.
Spell that actually?
I bought the book. It's almost as big as this, size-wise, sitting there. So.
Okay, so this is a good. Oh, that's the book we just read.
Yeah. Not. I don't think it's a very long read. I don't think. It's
Could someone spell the title, please?
I'm not sure it's
APEIROGON. I think.
Apparently.
I think Suresh will put it up anyway as the DP in the book club today.
Oh, has he? Okay.
I'll do that.
I got it from Odyssey. Just order and I got it.
No, the moment we decide on a book, I tell them. They try to stop it.
And I ordered online. I got the book the next day. So it was very easy. Yeah.
So last month we read an Indian author trying to do police detective work, and this month we read a Brit author.
Yeah.
Now both of them were, to use Prema's terms, were flight reads.
Yes.
What did we read last month?
Remember the lady who, one who comes to the what is that Andheri station? Andheri over.
Sudha.
Yes.
And so she decides that my children, I'm going to the house behind my children. And then the earlier ones were some, I don't know.
Well, that is not really Ambai. I like to say that because she writes very beautiful short stories. At least I like them. They're actually feminist, but sometimes it's not overtly feminist. She just gently leaves it in the last line and you can make out what she's trying to do. But she writes beautifully in Tamil. She's one of my favorite writers in Tamil. Her short stories particularly are very, very good. So from her, it was very strange to read a book like this. Maybe it was like, I'm tired of writing these beautiful novels. Let me,
Yeah, I know. Why not?
Why not?
Hey, as a parting note, I just want to know now, Mani Ratnam's Ponniyin Selvam is coming out. Who has read the Tamil version? I can't read.
I have read it when I was 15, 16 years old.
The original book is very good, I believe.
Yeah, yes, we grew up on it and we were quite, my sister and I, we used to wait for the Kalki to come every week. It just came as a serial in Kalki. And we would stutter and stammer our way through the Tamil so that we could understand it and read it. It was gripping, absolutely gripping. There's no doubt about it.
Anyhow, I have got the whole version in English, Tamil printed, Tamil original cut from the Kalki and bound. Okay, because my husband says that is his favorite book.
And there's illustrations by somebody called Maniam. They were superb.
Yeah,
I can still remember Kuntabai with that big hairstyle, top, and this long before we saw the Chola bronzes and thought this is how they dress and how they look. Very, very well etched out characters, and the way he has drawn them is fantastic.
So now we have to see whether Mani Ratnam does justice to your take on the book, or because since we have not been exposed, we go straight and take what he takes as our take.
But Mani Ratnam has been disappointing in the last 2 movies. Hope he doesn't disappoint us again.
I saw a trailer of that where this Aditya Karikalan is tearing around and shrieking, or not shrieking, what do men do when they have a masculine voice? I don't know, whatever word you use for it. And I don't know, it looked very filmy to me. So
I hope it's happening.
I
think his Nayagan days are gone. Anyhow, we are moving into something else, but still,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Yes, see you next month.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mala, and thank you, Purva, and thank you, Sumala.
Yeah.
Bye. Everybody for coming here today.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.